apparently is just some global option that doesn't save as part of your session because it was still on.
The hell was that?
From when I was writing songs with my friend. Yeah, asshole. I heard
Yeah,
that.
my buddy. I've got a buddy.
I heard everything you said.
Yes,
I heard it all.
So we're recording here?
Oh, yeah.
Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
We're in. We're live.
We're live.
Jim's fixed the knobs. Well, Jim was trying to fix knobs. I was just roasting his ass because he couldn't say shit. Because it was, and that's when you make fun of somebody when they can't defend themselves.
We're all about the game. I know you play it. Game with the game. Play it. Don't play it.
I was also singing the Triple H theme. So as long as we're talking about wrestling,
no.
Arn Anderson got fired.
Oh, he's alive?
Yeah. Well, he didn't get fired from Life. He got fired from his job. He's still kicking.
Well, fucking Luke Perry got fired from Life, okay?
Oh, man. I was going to lead into that. No, I wasn't. I don't really give a shit.
So he got fired. Who was he working for? WWE?
He's been an agent with WWE. That's World Wrestling Entertainments since 2001. He's been there for quite a while. And they recently cut him. At first, it looked like one of those, well, he's old, you know, even though he's...
It looked like one of those, well, he's old.
Well, you know, he wants to spend the remaining years of his face. Like, it didn't seem like there was much controversy. And they had just cut a bunch of people, so it seemed like they were just cleaning some house. It really didn't seem much, like, you know, much to it. Until this week.
Uh-oh.
Turns out there was an incident with Arn Anderson, the master of the Spine Buster, and Alicia Fox.
Uh-oh. I don't like where this is going.
The master of the Northern Lights suplex, actually. She does a good Northern Lights. I'm going to give you just spot out some bullshit reasons what you think.
Okay, we're going to harassment.
Show me sex. No. So yeah, that's a good one. Now this is wrestling, so sex is a good way to lead. What else has wrestling got?
Women can't work in this business. Can't work because you're a woman.
I mean, that's true, but he didn't say that to her, at least not that I know of.
Oh God!
What else does wrestling have? We watch all these shoot videos, and they're always talking about stuff.
Oh, she doesn't work safe.
No,
certain people. God damn.
No, what are they? They're always, the nightlife and the
drugs,
social. Well, it's the
sex
closest. It's the cousin of drugs.
Sex.
Alcohol.
Oh, what's
alcohol's
booze. Drugs.
We're gonna go booze. Yeah, okay. That's true. Well, I mean, she wasn't doing fucking coke off his dick or anything. No, this is actually they're both at fault. I would say, and I'm surprised Arn Anderson didn't talk his way out of getting fired because she apparently has an alcohol problem, and WWE has actually offered her rehab many times. And she's declined because she's a stupid person.
So you could say she said no.
Yes. You're clearly referencing something that I don't know about.
Amy Winehouse.
Amy Winehouse rehab. No. It's good when she explained it. That's the best jokes. She was drunk at a show. All right, it was a live event. She was drunk, and he was the agent of the match, putting the match together. And he let her go out in that condition, and when Vince found out about that, he fired him, gave him the boot. And Alicia Fox has actually kind of been MIA the last couple of days. It's that's other little drama. But I'm just surprised that Arn Anderson wasn't like, oh, I didn't know. She's just kind of kooky. Arn, did you know she was drunk? Yeah. Like, what the fuck are you saying, Arn? Well, you just say, oh, I don't know.
It appears to me that if he didn't really make a big case, that he doesn't care about losing that job. Like, he let a talent go out drunk and wrestle. You must not care too much.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, that's one way.
You
know,
like the passive. Like, I don't want to quit, but I'm gonna make it hard to not fire me.
Yeah.
Like he did that clearly, made it hard to not fire him. But what would Vince have done if he didn't let her go? Like, what do you do in that scenario? She's too drunk, she can't work.
Well, I mean, if it's a live, yeah, exactly. If it's a live show, I'm sure they got something. They don't really give a fuck because it's just a live event.
Sassy Storm. Hey, Sassy Storm, you're up.
Yeah, you get one of the fucking locals. I'm sure they got the girls there who aren't. I don't know the logistics of it, but I'm sure they had
Oh, you
options.
don't get
You,
local talent anymore. Not
you
a,
fucking.
not after that rocker dropper.
You,
The
you fucking
the $20
cut the
million rocker dropper.
yeah. You fucking cut the match. The next one goes an extra couple, and the next one after that goes an extra couple. Because it's not like this fucking match was the main event of the live event.
And
It's
it was,
Alicia
and you're
Fox.
saying it's a live event, so it wasn't like a live televised event.
No, it's a house show. They call them
House-
live events, house shows.
let's just
What are we at their house?
Can we just call them house shows? Because I didn't know at first when you said live event, I'm thinking like a meet and greet or something with the fans. And then you're like, she went out and wrestled. I'm like, oh, they're calling those house shows things something different.
You're so out of touch, Dad.
Sorry.
Dad. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. A little drama this week with that. You just because I always wonder. First of all, I always say they're all fucking each other back there. And even though that they can pretend this, it's the modern era, all they do is play video games with Xavier Woods, and I'm like, no, they're still drinking and doing drugs. Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
And I just all of them. Maybe there's maybe two aren't, but yeah, it's still going on back there, and you can't tell unless you let them wrestle drunk. Then you can tell. And you get fired from your job.
You can't tell if they're wrestling drunk. I can't be over there wrestling drunk when I'm over here wrestling drunk.
It was funny when I saw the headline
to wrestle drunk when I'm over here wrestling drunk.
I can't be on Raw wrestling drunk when I'm at the live event wrestling drunk. But like the way I pieced together the story, it was backwards. Like the first thing I read was like Alicia Fox MIA the last couple days because of the Arn stuff, and I was like, damn, Arn got fired.
Like, Arn stuff?
Oh no. So yeah, it's just nobody cared though. Like that, like on that subreddit, it's already like the 30th thing down because it's like, oh, it's just Alicia Fox. No one cares. People are like upset about the Arn stuff because it's Arn Anderson. You don't want to see him get fired, but yeah, maybe he just didn't care.
I mean, yeah, if he cared that much, then like you said, you cover your tracks a little better. You don't let her work drunk.
And just because of the way my mind works, the first thing I think is it probably wasn't even the first time.
I would hope
something like that.
I would hope
and she's pulling some. I've been drunker, Arn. You know that. And it's just like at that point, like once you've done it, you can't really go back. You just kind of have to let this person wrestle drunk because you've done it at least a couple times, and it's just like you dug your own grave at that point.
Now, what happens if you're one of the talent, and it's a house show, and let's say you're not just a jobber, but you're not. You're not anyone
Thinking
that's
of
got
mid-carder?
Yeah, I can't think of any. But like maybe a little less than a mid-carder, but not a complete jobber. And this other person you're about to wrestle is drunk. If you refuse, you're kind of the asshole, right?
I guess.
Like at least back in the day, I'm sure. But
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. Like if I knew, I wouldn't. Like there's that whole. You remember the TNA?
What? You wouldn't refuse, or you wouldn't?
I wouldn't wrestle.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I would refuse. I'd be like, absolutely not. Or you pull some fucking Sting shit, some of that Steve Borden shit from TNA when Jeff Hardy came out fucking blitzed out of his mind. And he's just like, nah, I'm gonna hit him with my finisher, and that's it.
He's like,
he's not touching me.
He like was like 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's get out of here. He's like, what happened?
He's trying to kick out. He's like, no, I got you balled up.
I don't think so. You're drunk.
Little fuckhead. So I mean, that's what you do. It's like, so like say you're new and you're like, oh fuck, Alicia Fox is drunk. I can't say no. You just be the aggressor. You make sure there are no moves or anything where your health is at stake.
Yeah.
Your head, there's no suplexes. There's no, my head is under my body at any point situation.
Apron pile driver.
Yeah, we're going to do some catch the catch can. Can you catch the can? Ground wrestling.
What? You're like, okay. Ankle lock. Let me get you in a camel clutch for 4 minutes, and then you'll just really tap out after that because you're going to puke.
You just work that old school. Just pretend you're in the fucking dungeon. You just work that match. Yeah, that's what women's wrestling's all about. Yeah, they'd love it. Especially, because Alicia Fox does the Northern Lights suplex, and she usually does it very, very well. But that's one, if you're drunk,
No.
that's a murder move. That is a murder move. So, just wanted to kick off the show.
That's the one I'm thinking of, Northern Lights suplex. That was like a Taz did that one, right?
Yes, because it has suplex in it.
Right. Well, no, it has plex in it. Just has to have
Yeah,
plex.
that's true.
The rest will be Taz. So describe it for me, because why can't I?
It's where I put my head between your arms, like you're gonna give me a DDT.
Oh yeah, like in a headlock, and I flip you over my back.
Yeah, it's okay. That one. It looks really cool when done well. And yeah, she does a great one. Yeah, I wouldn't let a drunk person do that
you on
to
my
me.
head. I'm not heading you on my drop.
I didn't even let Jeff do shit like that back in the backyard days. I was like, nah.
It doesn't work for me, brother.
I was like, you can do this other Emerald Flosion move onto this barbed wire ladder, but not that Northern Lights.
Hey, little kid, let me do this collarbone crusher. What did you try and do? Like a Steiner screwdriver or something to this kid?
I don't remember. You always tell the story about me injuring some person, and I don't remember it. I know JD listens. JD, if you can, did I ever injure anybody? I don't remember this.
I know you did, because I have it on videotape.
Oh, okay.
It's on the best of Dale Z.
He's just solid, brother.
No. Yeah, it's on the best of Dale Z. And then I remember you telling me, like, yeah, I broke it. It was like the guy who ran it in his backyard's little brother. And you're like, yeah, I don't know. Broke his collarbone. His mom wasn't happy about that.
Maybe I was just talking some shit.
No, it looked like a shoot on the tape. The 15 times in a row I watched it. I think I wore out my VCR rewinding it and watching it over and over.
That's great. Oh man,
it was like a Death Valley driver set up into
that
a pile
does sound.
Driver.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. It's coming back to me.
I'm like, how's he gonna pull this off? Ooh, God.
oh, he's not.
It was a fast count, and you got your payday, and you walked out of there. 1, 2, 3. I'll see you later.
Put some icy hot on it, brother.
It was not like for those of you that are listening, this was not like in even a makeshift ring. It was on like a gym mat.
Yeah.
Oh God, that poor fella.
Oh, God, I'm surprised I still have mobility myself.
Quit chewing this cup.
Quit chewing this cup. I love that the dog uses cups. That dog's a fucking trip.
Oh, I missed. Bring me that cup. So,
don't tell him that.
Luke Perry from 90210 had a stroke this week, and he passed away today. He died
at the age of 52.
52, yeah. Sad.
Wow.
Very sad.
Yeah.
Also, one of my all-time favorite bands, Aranda. Their drummer for a long time was a man named Mike Walker that I had the pleasure of meeting and hanging out with at several occasions. He was super humble and down to earth and really nice. And he and his wife were killed, I think yesterday or maybe the day before. So Sky Point to Mike Walker. He was a really good drummer, and we'll miss him.
What a bummer. There was was there another musician I thought I read died today? I don't think it was that guy, but man, I don't know. That's a bummer though. Both of them, a car accident?
No, they were murdered.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Well, fuck.
Yeah. I guess the story is still unfolding, but yeah, they were murdered in their house while they slept, I guess. But it was a really, man, it was shocking to read, and it hurt. He was a really nice dude.
That sucks.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks. What band was this? Miranda?
Aranda.
I don't know, rock. Aranda. Okay.
Hey, give me that cup.
Check that out. Who wants that cup?
He's hiding behind. Give me
We're gonna get that dog on the show one day. Oh, I heard it.
Yeah. God. He was like hiding with it now. I had to go find him.
Well, yeah, because you just fucking gave it to him. He's like, "Oh, go treat." Papa just threw me a treat.
Oh, I go a treat.
Oh,
I go a treat. A treat. I go a treat. Dale, I had a really productive Saturday. My friend and writing partner came over. Scott.
Scott. He's got a name.
He's got a name. We sort of kept working on some songs we already had that were pretty close to being finished, and then accidentally started writing 2 new songs, which was such a bonus.
Did the song give birth to the 2 songs?
So while we were trying to finish one of the songs, he was like, like a part like this, and I think I played another part, and I said, "Ooh, this is a different thing. This is a different riff," and I just kept playing it, and then he started coming up with ideas for like a melody over it. We just recorded that idea. So there's another song to work on. And then he had this outro riff. So I don't know how to put this in screenwriting terms. Maybe you can help me with an analogy. But imagine like you're writing this movie and you like it. It's solid.
I do.
And then for the end, you come up with something that's really good, but you're like, that whole theme thing you're doing at the end, that needs to be its own movie. Like, you don't want to just stick this at the end of this movie. That's a really fruitful idea. So, like, he had this outro riff that I'm like, that's a hook. That is a hook of another song. You don't throw that at the end of another. He's like, I don't know. I'm like, I know. We're not wasting that at the end of it. Like that. This song is good. It's got a hook. We'll go back to that hook. This other hook is amazing. That's another song.
Nice.
So he was like, okay, yeah, you're right. You know what? You're right. That is really good. So it, you know what I'm talking about? Like maybe there's like a sub storyline and you're like,
yeah, it happens all the time. You come up with, you've got your scene, and you finally get to it and you're like, oh, this is actually really good to the point where instead of this being, a 7-minute thing, this has enough legs. This has enough strength to be its own thing. Maybe a short film, but maybe even a whole feature, and I've done that. I've done that plenty of times.
Yeah. So this, and this was going to be, it wasn't even like a lot of times, I want to say a lot of times, but it's not uncommon for there to be an intro to a song that's really catchy. Like it catches you, it pulls you right in. And then you don't really go back to that section of the song for the rest of the song. But it's very rare for a really catchy outro to a song. And I'm like, no, we're not putting that at the end of this song. That's another song.
It's almost like a waste. It's almost like a waste. You want to maximize your profits,
Yeah. You want to maximize
your music profits.
Your profits.
Maximize your profits.
Minimize your losses.
Minimize your taxes. But that's actually happened because right now I'm editing a anthology that I'm writing. So I've got 7, 8 short stories, and it was a struggle because each time I'm like, this is so good, this could be a 90-minute thing, and I'm like, no, Dale, don't fall for that trap, So sometimes it can work the other way. Do you come across that?
Yes.
Where you think this has legs to be its own thing, and then you find out, oh no, it didn't.
Yeah, and
did not.
And it's almost, at least in the songwriting world, you kind of have to waste a bunch of time to figure that out. So you're like, oh yeah, this is its own thing. Or let's say you'll have a piece and you'll think, this is a really good hook. And then you're like, oh yeah, it'll be easy to come up with the rest of it. And then you do that and you're like, no, this is weak. The rest of it's weak. And it's
weak.
Yeah, we gotta really, the hook is not going to carry that. I need to do more work in the surrounding pieces. But yes, it has happened where you think this one piece is good enough for like a 4-minute song and you realize there's just nothing else going on here and it's really boring.
Yeah. So it sounds like to me, because we've talked just about every Monday for the last 35 years, it feels, that you're getting more done, and it sounds like even recording stuff with Scott more here. You seem like you're ahead of schedule. I've never heard you record so much in such a little amount of time. What I'm asking is, when do I get to listen to this shit?
We are going to, let's see, I would say sometime in the next couple months, start recording the actual like final versions of these songs. And we're
For
looking to
reals.
do an EP, either like a 4 or 5 song EP, like a short release, so
Mhm.
we can get it out, so we can get it released. So I would say, I'm going to say summertime. Which
Summertime. Well,
seems
that's right
like
around the corner.
seems like it's far away, but it really isn't. But these
No,
songs are
spring's
so
here.
like a lot of the time you waste when you're writing or when you're recording rather, sometimes you realize you didn't do your homework with the arrangement. Like you've got the melody and you've got the lyrics and the structure, but sort of like, oh, you know what if there's this harmony part here, or there should be like a little guitar melody in between these two verses, and then you're recording the final version of, or what's supposed to be the final version of the song, and you realize like, I didn't do my homework on this other stuff, and now I got to sit here and like finish writing a song that's supposed to be done. We're knocking all that stuff out every session, like building on the song and like, okay, this song's pretty much done. And this style of music, which I would describe as sort of like
Hot rock.
it's rock, but it's sort of stripped down, like folkier at times.
Minimal rock.
Yeah, it's
Min
minimal.
rock.
It's minimal. So
No, we gotta. You're gonna brand this.
there's not a ton of. It's not like, oh well, this 50-part harmony is going to take a month to record. It's going to be like a stripped down rock record. So I'm thinking summertime.
Summertime.
And Scott's also an amazing. I don't want to say also, like, I think of, and I don't want to diminish his songwriting skills because he's a great songwriter. I was actually like really shocked at how great these songs are because I've always just known him as like an amazing drummer. He's the best drummer I know.
But he also got brain.
Yeah, he's like no other drummer I've ever met. He also got brain, and he's on time.
He got brain.
It's crazy.
And watch. I have brain and watch.
Brain and watch and write song and play drum. So when we get to the point where we have to record these, it's not going to be a struggle. Like he can play the drums, I can play guitar. This is not going to take a long time to record. I'm actually really excited. This is the most excited I've ever been.
It is
about writing original songs.
Yeah, well, because when it's just you, you get into your mind prison. And with other people, they slow you down. But now, you got this guy who he's got brain and watch. So now you can do the playing that you want to do, and you get to do all the things you like.
You've always amazed me the amount of stuff that you've gotten done on your own, because I suffer from the paralysis by analysis, right? So it's not that I couldn't come up with ideas. It's like, which way do I go? I don't know what should this sound like? And he brings that whole thing to the table, so I can just work and just go, oh, it's sort of like when you had me write that song, Boys Night Out. You're like, here's, I'm going to set the premise up for you. I need a song that does this. And I said, I know exactly what you're looking for. So he's like, I'm writing songs that sound like this. And I go, I know exactly what you need for these songs. It's just working and just getting things done. And it's hard, man. You're trying to find musicians. We're all lazy.
Yeah, I believe that.
We're either lazy or we are pessimistic.
No watch.
Where we
have no watch.
Or we have no watch. So to find somebody that you not only agree on how the stuff should sound, but that person also shows up every time they say they're gonna show up, and you actually get things done, it's very rare. And the other thing is, often in the past, I would come up with an idea. I'd play with it for a while. I'd record it. I go back to it. And I go back to it with the thought, like, is this going to be as good as I remembered? And like sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. And I'm like, it needs more work. And when I go back to this stuff, I'm like, is it going to be as good as I remembered? And then I'm like, man, this is way better than I remembered. Like, I want to listen to this right now.
Nice.
Where's the rest of this song? Oh, yeah, I have to record it.
See, that excites me.
That's
You
exciting
have,
for me.
you have the high standards. And you're like, you know what, Dale? It's actually pretty good. You're like, it's fucking, I like it. And I don't like anything. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
"Ooh, shit."
really like it. I'm super excited.
Now, after the EP, which stands for early placards, you guys gonna do shows? Is this a sign of a setup that works in a live thing, or is it just a studio sort of thing?
Right now, we're not. Right now, we both want to do shows for sure, but right now, it's literally just the two of us. So
Just the plotting. You're just
between the
plotting
two
at
of
this
us,
point.
we're writing all the songs. He can play drums, I play guitar. Either one of us can play bass. We're both gonna sing some of these. So recording wise, we're set. But as far as playing shows, it's gonna be we're gonna need at least probably a couple more people to play with us. It's not that we're not worried about it or not concerned about it, but we don't
Baby
want to get too
steps.
caught up in that and then forget to record an EP.
You don't want to put the cart before the horse, because then the horse, like, how's the horse going to go anywhere? The
Yeah.
cart's in the way.
And then you know what happens? The horse fucks a guy to death.
You know,
That's what horses do sometimes.
right? He grabs the driver and he puts him in the cart and he fucks him right there in the cart. That's why you don't put the cart in front of the horse, because it gives him ideas.
That's why. That is why that is a little moral. What would you call it? A little
Like an idiom, is it?
phrase or a I don't know. You're the writer.
I think it's an idiom. But yeah, I think that's going to be my new favorite thing, is where I fucking give these idioms a new history, a new fiction. Oh.
But what do you think of an idea? And I haven't looked into it too much, but I can't think of an example of this. Do you know how people will do the roast me thing? And
Yes.
people would like tear them apart. Or it'll be like a picture and there's that guy on Instagram that like says 50 things in a row about it. What
I
about
did see that once.
what about like
Dave showed me one.
roast my song? You know, like send me your song that you like and I will just shit on it.
I think you'd get less takers.
I think you would too, but God, it would be so much fun.
Now, how would you do it? All right, Jim. This is going to be your new series. It's obviously going to be audio, but it obviously works for video. Let's say it's a little YouTube thing. Now, would you break it down? Like, would you listen to 10 seconds and then pause the audio so you could roast it, or would you do it after the whole completion?
I wouldn't want to do it live. Like I would do it. It would be a video. I would have listened to the whole song ahead of time.
Sure. Oh, of course. Yes.
And then I would sort of like if they sent me a video of them playing it, play that behind me. If it was just the audio, it would just be me reacting to the audio and just shitting on it and coming up with like musical cut down references. Yeah, like it had to be unique to music. It couldn't just be like.
Do you need people to send it to you? Can't you just find some of these gems out there? And you know,
okay.
it's mean.
I was gonna say I understand. Yeah, I'm sure I could, but I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings that don't want them to be hurt.
And they're going, because you know what you're going to get? You're going to be like, I'm going to send Jim my song, and he's going to try to roast me, but he's not going to find shit because I'm actually really good. And then when you find things to roast me about, I'm going to get real fucking salty because I thought I was in the clear. I think people get a lot of that, because you see that even on the roast me's. Like, some of them are like really good looking people, and you know that's the game they're playing.
Like, look how high I am. You can't roast
yeah,
Batch.
but these people like are born in like the fucking sewers on Reddit. Like, they will find something. They've got evil in their hearts, and they're coming for you.
I just think it'd be fun. Like, send me your track, and let me roast your track. It would be fun with
there you go.
rappers. It would be fun.
That would be fun. Is that something that lends itself to like a 2-man operation, or like multiple people in general, or is that just like a one guy, just like a 1-man roast machine?
I think it could be a 2-man operation. I think it could be. Yeah.
See how I just added myself?
Yeah.
No, I know you're gonna do it, Scott.
No,
I
I
know what
wouldn't
you're
do
gonna
it. Scott
fucking.
Scott doesn't want. Not going to want any part of that. He's in customer service. Can't be
Oh.
out there roasting people. I got no stakes in the game. I'm just out here. All I do is podcast. That's all I do.
Yep. Play that O-dub.
You know, there's other
wanted to
people
play
like me.
OWS.
There's other people with my name. That doesn't mean I'm that person. So if you're ever
I've heard-
listening to this, you're like, I think I know who this guy is. I think you don't.
I've had several people in the last couple weeks because I got this new gig, and they're like, "Yeah, I looked you up on. I was stalking your Facebook." I've heard that phrase
Mhm.
multiple times. Stalking your Facebook, which isn't cute. Don't say it. And they like it's so easy, obviously, because we live in the social media age.
Yes.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, I saw this, and you did that," and I'm just like, I forgot I had all this shit on there. And it's just Facebook. It's nothing like, oh, my naked pics. It's just, but it is stuff that I do have on there that I forgot all about. And yeah, ooh.
So what you're telling me is you need to be more responsible with your digital citizenship.
I feel I have been. Like I feel, because what am I, 34? I feel like when I was, 20, in my mid to late 20s, that I was like, all right, this is gonna last forever because that's how the internet works. Don't be retarded.
Yeah.
See, and just now I said retarded, and that's gonna be out there forever. But before that, maybe you post some stuff you probably should. And I'm sure if I ever run for anything, they're gonna be like, on your Twitter, sir, you said you hope Ahmad Carroll, the cornerback of the Green Bay Packers in 2002, you said you hope he got cancer and hit by a bus at the same time. And I'm like, did he though? Because he was really bad at his job. Ahmad Carroll.
You're like, I'm still waiting.
You fucking gooba. It's like, is this a status update? Otherwise, I don't give a shit. But yeah, just be careful out there in social media.
Yeah, I don't think you don't have any James Gunn moments out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm good. But they were talking about pictures and stuff that I just forgot all about. And when somebody, sparks your memory like that, when they're talking about how you did a fucking Death Valley driver bomb to a young person and broke his collarbone, it jolts you,
Statute of limitations. And also, this is a comedy podcast, so everything we say on here is just satire anyway. None of it's true.
JK, man. JK.
So that being said, I started watching Leaving Neverland, and
is that on Netflix?
It's on HBO Go.
It's on HBO. Fuck, that's the new one, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I mean, I've been a Michael Jackson fan since, about as long as these kids in this movie that are now my age were. And it's interesting because a lot of fans want to defend their heroes when accusations first come out, right? They want to go, no, that's not true. Not this person that I idolize, right? Mm-hmm. But with me, it was the opposite. When Michael Jackson first got accused, I want to say I was like 9, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like that, I could totally buy that.
Yeah, the weirdo did that. Of course he probably did.
But then, and then I remember when the album he had, it was called History. When that came out, that one had You Are Not Alone and Scream on it. This album came out, and everyone's like, yeah, MTV Awards and blah, 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 and Michael Jackson's back on top. I'm like, do you remember a couple of years ago that kid was like, he molested me? What about that? And like, I'll settle out of court. I'm like, okay. And then it just sort of felt icky for a while. But then in like the mid 2000s, I really got on board when he had that interview where he's like, like to climb trees with that guy at his house. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, I think he's just like a man child. And I was thinking like, Macaulay Culkin, Corey Feldman, one of these people would have said something by now, Then he died. And then like, well, for real now, one of them's going to say something. I thought, no, maybe he's just a man child. But in your mind, you're like, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's just too much. There's not R. Kelly amounts of smoke. There's not Bill Cosby smoke. Like fire. There's
right.
Bill Cosby fire. Like we just look and see the fire.
Napalm.
But like R. Kelly, we watched R. Kelly in a videotape piss on a person underage, like, or at least they did in court.
Did we?
Like the video was shown to authorities. Like people saw this video. And he's like, oh, that wasn't me. But it's like you're on videotape. Like if there's a videotape of Michael Jackson diddling a little boy, it'd be like, what's fucking right there on videotape?
Yeah. Yeah.
But there, and then Dave Chappelle didn't help sway me the other way when he's like, isn't it always weird whenever we're at war, Michael Jackson just like jerks off another kid? And I'm like, that does kind of make sense. They're trying to tear this poor fella down. But this documentary, it's just too... There's just too much that gets corroborated by like photographs and videos. And like...
Yeah.
For this to be an elaborate plot against Michael Jackson's, it just seems like a stretch. I haven't finished it. It's 2 parts. The first part is an hour and 45 minutes. I'm only like halfway through the first part, but it's already getting brutal.
Yeah, I mean, I kept hearing about this because I was at the festivals, and they're like, "Ooh, it's not looking good." And then the Jackson representatives or whatnot, whoever owns that shit, was like, "Yeah, oh, we're judging this up again. We've handled all of this before. We don't understand why this is happening again. Like, none of this is new." Was basically what they were saying. Like, none of this is new. All of this has been either disproven or settled out of court. And so like that was their response to it. And like people are watching it, you're watching it, and but it's not like making the Cosby shit. Like that was a fucking story every day. Well, mostly because of the fucking numbers, but every day it was just like, can you believe it? Here's an update. Can you believe it? This one, once again, it was like, oh, there's a documentary about Michael probably fucked those kids. Oh, Umbrella Academy is on Netflix. Did you see Umbrella Academy? Like right away, we just gloss kind of over it again.
Right. But I don't think I can anymore. And I don't want to get caught up in this mentality of like, well, what do we just go back through time and erase everything? You know, like, oh, Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Chuck Berry are all fucking teenagers. Like, so we can't listen to any music? No, I think I draw the line with raping children. So like,
oh, that's where the line is for you.
I think I can sort of like, yeah, Sean Connery hit his wife. That's really bad. It's terrible, but I can still watch, like Indiana Jones. But like, you're raping kids. I think I have to like. Here's my point. I have a little kid, very little, 4 years old. He loves I Believe I Can Fly. I'm like, and I had to try and tell it to him like he's a 4-year-old because he is. I'm like, I don't want to. I said, the way this works, every time we listen to this song, he gets a little tiny bit of money. And he's a bad person.
He's a bad man.
He did bad things. So we can't listen to it anymore. Well, he loves Michael Jackson. So we've been listening to Michael Jackson. And I understand he's dead, right? But like money goes to his accounts and his estates and stuff. A little bit every time you play the music. And if I just can't be a hypocrite. If I watch this and I go, yeah, it's pretty clear that this should happen, I got to tell him, like, look, he wasn't a good person.
Now, here's the thing with documentaries. They are made by human beings, often with agendas.
Of course.
And they're very manipulative.
Yes.
Yeah, then it's always very, manipulative. So I try not to make... I'll watch them for entertainment, and maybe if I learn something, I'll keep it. But I always know, there is that angle to it where they're telling you certain things for certain reasons, and I'm trying not to get worked, brother.
It's the gut check thing, and it's also like does this match with other stuff? So there was a documentary on YouTube. We talked about this on the show about the like sort of pedophilia in Hollywood thing. And which this is kind of part of that. Like one of the kids, one of the people in this Leaving Neverland was cast in a commercial out in California for Pepsi, and that's how he met Michael Jackson. And he was a young boy cast in this commercial. Like, so there's already that component. And then when I saw that documentary about the pedophilia in Hollywood, it all was starting to line up with stuff Corey Feldman had been talking about and like saying, no, I'm telling you, big names are going to come out. I'm telling you, this has been going on for a long time. And then big names came out, Kevin Spacey, Bryan Singer, naked pool party things. Like, I'm like, oh man. So I'll watch this and then watch for other stuff to come out after, because I think there will be more. I think after this gets out into the bloodstream more, there's gonna be more.
Yeah, let's wait and see, because that's kind of indicative of the truthiness, for me anyway. Because if Michael Jackson was a pedophile, there's no way he didn't fuck Macaulay Culkin and Corey Feldman. So until one of these names,
or
not that these other,
or did something to make them uncomfortable, like whip his dick out, something.
right? They've always been very adamant the other way, and not to downplay these like non-famous people who are saying these things, but like we all know that these other two spent some time with Michael, and everybody would whisper and say the things, but they were always like, nah, we just hung out. We played pinball and shit. It was pretty fucking dope. But so until one of them says, all right, after the pinball, you've kind of fucked me. Like until then, like I'm never gonna be fully committed. I'm never gonna not listen to a Michael Jackson song because of it.
No,
until that day. And when that day happens, maybe
I'm not yet either. Like R. Kelly. We knew about R. Kelly pissing on people 15 years ago. And like last week, I decided to stop listening to I Believe I Can Fly. Because it's too much. Now there's too much. I can't do it. So I hear what you're saying, and I agree. But so far, where I am in this,
not looking good, huh?
No, there's like very specific situations, and it's not like the parents aren't trying to pretend like, how some parents are sort of salty that they were shitty parents, and they're like, yeah, right away I knew something was up. This doesn't make sense. It's not like that. They're like, oh my God, he was so charming and sweet, and like we were so starstruck. We couldn't believe we were here with Michael Jackson. And then it just sort of builds up. Like the kid that was in the commercial, Michael Jackson wanted to hang out with him at his like little shitty house. So like him and I don't, it wasn't the hood, but it was like,
yeah, not great.
Like just a regular house.
Yeah.
And the kid and his parents drove to Michael Jackson's house and picked him up and like snuck out the back door with him. And like he's wearing pajamas in this kid's house. And there's like pictures of him in this kid's house. And they're like playing and eating popcorn with the parents there and everything. But it's like, yeah, that's like a weird, elaborate story to make up. And they have proof that this happened. And then it's just like sort of slowly builds into from the very outset with both of these stories, where it didn't seem like nobody thought anything of it, right? I think it's hard for us to remember, but even way back then in the 80s, before the accusations, there was talk. There's either about his sexuality, like is he gay, or like he's weird.
He talked like this.
He took Brooke Shields to the Grammys or something when she was like 16. It was just like people thought he was bizarre back then. And that comes up too.
Prove anything. Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying it proves anything, but what I'm saying is these kids were like, Michael Jackson, these kids at school say you're weird. And he's like, don't believe them. I'm not weird. This is how you masturbate. No, but
let me show you.
I'm just not liking where it's going.
I'm sure you're not, and it's gonna get. I'm sure it's gonna be worse in the show, and that's what it is. It's a show, because one thing I've noticed and learned with documentaries and docu-series, they don't straight up lie. Like, yeah, there's those pictures of him.
They have their angle. They're working their angle.
Yeah. No. What they do the most is omission.
Oh, what did they leave out?
We're gonna neglect maybe this part and that part. And because that does not help our angle at all. What was it? Making a Murderer on Netflix, yeah. Super popular. And you watch it, and if you like believe it straight up, as if a friend you trust is telling you this, you're like, yeah, this all makes sense. Come to find out, so many omissions that make these people not look how they were trying to present them in the documentary. And of course, they're going to admit that because it doesn't play to their angle. So yeah. Everyone's a liar.
I will say this though, in Making a Murderer, I always thought the high school kid that was like, "Can I watch WrestleMania?" I always felt like he got fucked, like he got taken advantage of. But I always thought the other guy just straight up murdered that chick. Like,
Yeah.
why? Like, there's no way he could have murdered her because he was framed for a rape he didn't commit. Like, that doesn't have anything to do with him killing this lady.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
He seems like a whack job when they framed him the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they've. I don't know. I could totally see where it's like, well, this guy's a creeper, and we know he's up to no good all the time. He probably did this shit.
Yeah. And there was a lot of other evidence that really made him look quite suspicious, but we forgot to put that in there. Oh, whoops.
Isn't there a season 2? What's season 2? Like, he still did it.
Season 2 is more about the kid you're talking about,
Okay.
and it's not as good.
No
And
shit.
they're just it's not as good. And he got fat as fuck because he was just eating them prison moon pies, you know.
Taking the moon poundings. So
Taking the moon
I'm watching Leaving Neverland, and here's what I'm saying. I've seen other things that have swayed me, and if I don't let this try and sway me, it's just because I have a huge bias, and I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan.
No, there's proof of R. Kelly doing these things, and to a point, it's fucking ridiculous. Obviously, the pudding guy. The fuck's his name?
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby. There's obviously a lot of proof against him. The proof's in the
There you go. We're not look, this. I don't mean to laugh. We're not laughing at the situation. We're laughing at the phrase. Proof is in I can't even say it, dude.
No, really, it's me that has that problem. Okay. So yeah, but it's always been on thin ice. And honestly, you're probably the same way because you're a big Michael Jackson fan. You were always waiting. You know, you're standing on that ice, that thin Michael Jackson ice, and you were always waiting for it to crack and just boom, nothing but fucking rape below the water there. But this Michael Jackson ice seems pretty. It's held strong for quite a long time. Nobody's really, you know.
I guess one of my biggest problems is the people that come out and defend him. It's always like family.
Sure.
And they say I know my brother. There's no way he did this. And they all say that every time.
And that's why
I know Jerry Sandusky. There is no way he would do something like this.
He came to Easter.
Yeah. He's my husband. And when they were screaming down there, they were having a good time. Like
they were happy screams.
People always say that. Like I never thought he could murder all those people.
And that's why I put so much stock into the Feldmans and the Culkins not fucking coming through.
Here's what I really feel. At the time that they were hanging out with him, specifically like Macaulay Culkin, that's when Michael Jackson was on top of planet Earth. I wouldn't be surprised if there's just some sunset we're waiting on. Like some 40-year agreement has to lapse. And then they're like, oh, God, here, now I can spill my guts. I've just been waiting for this thing to go away. Because that's what happened with HBO. They tried to put this out. And they're like, no, remember you signed this thing that said you wouldn't be mean to Michael Jackson. And they're like,
hey, don't be mean.
Yeah, you did make us sign that thing. Why would you make us sign that thing? Jesus.
Why did we sign this thing? Well, next week is going to be episode 62. Let us know. I want the follow up on this.
Yeah, I'll have it watched. I'll have it watched by then.
The 6-hour docuseries, Leaving Neverland. Man. So, Overwatch.
Oh, yes.
Is a game we're going to play hopefully in like a half an hour.
Yes.
And I didn't get to play yesterday, but I saw this headline a week ago. Didn't get a chance to mention it.
Did Overwatch molest somebody?
No. Okay. But this is mostly just a conversation for us. But GOATs is the name of a specific lineup of characters that you can, be in the team. So you get these characters. It's called GOATs for whatever reason. I think that's the name of the team that did it the first time. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not part of the game per se. It's like if you go with this certain arrangement of team composition, the community calls it GOATs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This was a couple weeks old, and I'm looking at it on Dexerto.com. But Overwatch League crowd hilariously boos as team switches to goats. And sure enough, there's a video, and it's a competitive game. I don't know if it's Overwatch League. Oh, it is. It's Houston Outlaws. And the game begins, right? And the teams kind of go to the middle real quick, and they see, oh, they have a diva, boom, boom. And the one team all goes back to spawn, and they swap to goats. And the fucking audience just boos them, and it's hilarious.
And so for our listeners, there are what, 30? There's like 30 different characters in Overwatch. It's almost like a fighting game cast list. And you have 6 characters on a team. And this GOATS lineup is sort of non-traditional. You know, there's like damage characters and healing characters and tank characters and characters with shields. And this GOATS lineup is like 3 healers and 3 tanks, and they just all plow into one target after another. But it's not really fun to watch. There's not like a lot of one-shot sniper headshot kills. Like it can be sort of like taxing to watch. And this has been going on so long that they've been like slowly trying to patch things to make it easier to counter this composition, and it's still really hard to counter. So
is that what GOATS is?
People are just GOATS. Okay, specifically
three healers, 3 tanks, or is there specific?
It's
guys?
Specific. It's
okay.
Zarya. I'll do the tanks first. You got to have Ryan, Zarya, Diva, and then you have to have Lucio. You have to have Brigitte, and then the last healer is sort of normally it's like Zenyatta, but you could do it. You could do it with Moira.
Yeah. So the Outlaws went with the standard GOATS. They didn't even go with an alternate. They went with pure. And you know, I'm one of those people where it's like in the football. You know, they score a touchdown and then they do a dance for 12 minutes, and the opponent comes up and shoves them like, you don't get to spike on the start. It's like, well, you should have let them fucking score. Just fucking stop them. If you don't, if it works, people are going to do it until you're good enough to stop them.
Don't get it twisted. I'm not upset that the team did it, nor would I boo them. But
I wouldn't boo
you have to
them,
just understand the environment that this has been happening in for like a year. This has been dominating competitive play, and people have sort of been doing other things, moving away from it, doing like 4 DPS, just doing some weird stuff.
Trying to find the counter.
Then they're like, let's go GOATS. And
Can you counter GOATS with GOATS?
Yeah, and that's super boring.
To watch or
to watch. Because when you're watching it, it's just a clusterfuck of all the characters like piling on top of each other. You can't even see anything happening.
Yeah, but that's kind of the fun because it's like whoever makes the first mistake, you know.
Yeah, that happens.
You get to see, you're like, oh, that Lucio went too far. He shouldn't have done that. Oh, now they lost it.
It's sort of the equivalent of it. Like, we've all played fighting games. I'm sure everyone that listens to this, like even if my mom's listening, she's had to endure playing Street Fighter with me when I was a little kid. There's always the trope of the cheap character. Like, oh, that character's cheap. It's sort of like the cheap comp.
This is the odd job of Overwatch.
Exactly. This is the level 32 Shin Akuma of Overwatch.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I just thought that was interesting because I've only recently learned of GOATS, and I still didn't know what it was until you just explained it to me that it's 3 healers, 3 tanks, specifically those ones that you mentioned. So that's interesting. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't boo it. You know, especially in competitive when it's like their job. This is their job.
You know it's going to happen. Win. You know it's happening. Like, you know it's coming.
It's just the fact that they started with a different lineup, and then they saw something. I forgot what they saw, but then they went right back and they fucking they went to GOATS, which is hilarious to me.
Yeah, was it like a widow or something? There's certain characters that are just, it's really hard in GOATS, and it works. These compositions, depending on the map, work better or worse, you know, so.
Okay.
That makes
So yeah,
sense.
they come out with like a Mercy and a Sombra and a Farah and a Winston. And what is the Ferris sees something. It's so hard. It's so quick, but the Ferris saw something, and they all just turned tail to go back to spawn.
Oh, God.
And hilarious. And the crowd boos.
And was it like gradual, like as you see them switching and getting back to spawn? Then it's
Yeah,
like,
because
this is
they're all
officially goats. Now we're pissed.
yeah. Like once the first switch is made, they're like, oh, they're doing okay. Boo, boo this man. So, we're reaching the end of the show here.
We are.
It's been nice. We talked about Arn Anderson getting fired. You know, we talked about Scott. Can't wait to meet Scott so I could be jealous of your new friend. I'm like, you're the one he's talking about all the time, Scott.
I've known Scott for a long time. Not as long as you, though. Not even close. But he's not really new.
Just fucking give him the Mercy treatment. Just tie your ankles to these blocks, Scott. Umbrella Academy on Netflix. I've been trying to watch this goddamn show for the past couple weeks.
What happened?
And it's just life,
Okay.
you know?
Okay. I
So
got worried. I thought you were going to say, like, I tried to watch it and I just can't get through it. Because I've heard it's really good. And I was like, ooh, does Dale think it's shit?
No, I thought it was
Okay.
very interesting. It's based on a graphic novel, and I knew that going in. And I love that they made some stylistic choices with certain visuals and music and just in general. And I always love like the choices. Like M. Night Shyamalan, I always give him credit. Are some of his movies bad? Yeah, probably. The motherfucker takes that risk. You know, he makes his choices, he sticks with them. And that's you get some of that in Umbrella Academy, which I like. I appreciate the choices. However, finally got a chance to watch the final 2 episodes. There's 10. And the ending of it. I've never seen a show beg for a season 2 as much as this show did. It almost felt like a mid-season finale. And I was like, you're calling it here? You got to be shitting me.
So-
I was upset. The girlfriend was upset. And we got to wait. They're going to get season 2 because it was just good. It was
Hold
good.
on.
But fucking Christ.
Did you guys hear that? Did you hear how Dale tried to bury the lead? The girlfriend was upset?
She was.
So you guys boyfriend, girlfriend now?
I think she hit me in the shoulder. She was like, I'm upset.
They're boyfriend, girlfriend. Guys. Good job.
Umbrella Academy.
So you don't even, because obviously.
It's good. I was just I was so frustrated at the end. And it was a good ending, but you can't.
Obviously, these shows always try and set up the next season. But they didn't even give you like this season resolves, and then like maybe a little like half of the last episode trickles into a first season.
Yeah, they they create some things for the season 2 to do, but they don't answer enough questions and issues for season 1 to be a satisfying end. I'm all for cliffhangers and setting up a season 2, but you got to give me some closure on the season 1. Is that too much to ask? I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either. Now, but what I can't make a comparison with is Game of Thrones, because I never had to sit and wait for the next season. I just like blasted through all of them.
Welcome.
I feel like I'm sure they've done that, haven't they? Or do they usually like leave you hanging at the very last couple minutes? Like, shit.
No. Do you remember? I remember this now. Game of Thrones did a weird thing. Their finale in the seasons was almost always the penultimate episode, and then the last episode was always kind of like a wrap up. Like it was always very slow, and now we're checking in on the results.
Oh yeah,
and then you kind of set up the next season a bit. But I always thought that was weird. Like the big fight and the big thing, whatever that season was always the second to last episode.
Yeah,
Interesting. It was interesting. It worked for him though. It worked for him.
I can't wait for that last season.
I'm excited. I'm gonna have to watch a YouTube video that recaps me real good, but I'm looking forward to it. I need HBO. Go.
Yeah, I
Better
don't.
give me that cup.
He's drinking.
Shit.
He's either drinking out of her cup or he's drinking out of the his new thing is drinking out of the fish tank. It was
Just
the
a
fish
thirsty
tank?
boy.
He was
Fish
drinking
check.
on the fish, and then she blames me like it's my fault. Like, put water in his bowl. Like, wait a minute. No one told him to go drink out of the fish tank.
So next week,
We're always worried that he's going to come out with a fish, though. Like he's just
I
going to
would
drink
be.
a fish out of there.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
Right. He's an idiot
It's a
dog.
machine. He's an idiot machine dog. Next week, we're going to talk some Ghostbusters 3.
Oh, I can't wait.
Going to talk about, I don't want too many spoilers, but I want to watch this short video called The Cat with Hands.
What?
It's supposed to be a horror short that was making the rounds a month ago, and it's called The Cat with Hands. If you're listening, because you are, watch it with me. So when I'm talking about it next week, you know what I'm talking about.
I'm picturing it, and it looks terrifying in my mind.
It's The Cat with Hands. So let's plug it up here. Follow me on the gram at Dale Zawada. Yeah, that's about it for me. I hate Twitter. Apparently,
Yeah,
I probably said some things, but I'm on Carol back in the day. But what can you do? So those are my plugs.
You can follow me on Instagram at JamesJRMusic, and you can follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/JamesJRSongs. And also on Facebook, you can follow Dad Bod.
Dad Bod?
No shows to talk about coming up. But as soon as I have one, I will let you all know.
It's because our boy was in Japan.
Japan.
Can't have shows if toured in Japan.
That's racist. Don't talk like that.
This was episode 61. Thanks for listening. I'm leaving Neverland.
I'm never leaving.